A Gentle Flame by Dean Whitaker. The year was 1885, and Millbrook wore autumn like a patchwork quilt, leaves of amber and russet drifting past the textile mill's tall windows, while wisps of cotton floated through its chambers within. The four-story brick building dominated the town's skyline, its chimney releasing steady plumes of steam into the crisp October air. Miss Harriet Thorne stood before her polished oak desk on the mill's upper floor, reviewing the quarterly accounts one final time with a practiced eye. Her fingers, stained with ink, traced each column of numbers as the afternoon light caught the copper highlights in her carefully pinned hair. At 26, Harriet had earned her position as the mill owner's secretary through exceptional competence and dedication. The local ladies' society might whisper about her unmarried status during their afternoon teas, but she found more satisfaction in a well-balanced ledger than in their son's fumbling attempts at courtship. Her practical gray dress and wire-rimmed spectacles spoke of function over fashion, though they did nothing to diminish her quiet beauty. Tomorrow would bring significant change to their community. London was sending a new manager to modernize their operations, and the entire town buzzed with speculation about what this might mean for their livelihoods. As she organized the orientation materials, Harriet couldn't help but wonder about Mr. Edmund Blackwood. His letters had been precise and thoughtful, showing a promising attention to detail that aligned with her own methodical nature. The morning air carried the first bite of winter as Harriet waited at the station, her clipboard held close like a shield. The newly laid platform boards creaked beneath her sensible boots as she paced, checking her father's pocket watch every few minutes. The steam train arrived precisely on schedule, announcing itself with a blast of vapor that momentarily obscured the platform. Through the dissipating clouds stepped Mr. Edmund Blackwood, exactly as his letters had suggested, precise, professional, and far younger than expected. He walked with purpose but without arrogance, his charcoal suit well-maintained rather than ostentatious. "Miss Thorne?" he inquired, removing his hat to reveal dark hair touched with distinguished gray at the temples. "Your reputation for efficiency precedes you. I appreciate you meeting me on such a brisk morning." "Welcome to Millbrook, Mr. Blackwood," Harriet replied, matching his professional tone. "I've prepared a comprehensive overview of our operations. The carriage awaits, unless you'd prefer to walk and see more of the town." Edmund's eyes brightened at the suggestion. "A walk would be most illuminating, Miss Thorne. One can learn much about a community by observing its streets." Their first week revealed Edmund's methodical approach to management. He spent hours learning the mill's rhythms, speaking with workers at their stations, and poring over past records. Harriet found herself drawn to his thoughtful questions and genuine interest in safety improvements. He treated every worker with respect, regardless of their position, and she noticed how he always carried a leather-bound notebook to record their suggestions. During their second week, while reviewing accident reports in the late afternoon light, Edmund asked, "Miss Thorne, what's your assessment of these incidents? Your experience here would provide valuable insight?" Harriet hesitated, unused to being asked her opinion by management. The light caught the earnest expression in his blue eyes, and she found herself speaking freely. "Poor lighting in the spinning room contributes significantly. The windows are too high, and the gas lamps cast shadows that make it difficult to spot tangled threads. And workers often extend their shifts when tired trying to meet quotas. Perhaps if we adjusted the schedule and improved the lighting." Edmund nodded, making careful notes in his precise handwriting. "Excellent insights. Would you help me develop a comprehensive proposal for improved conditions? Your understanding of both the practical and human elements would be invaluable." Thus began a partnership built on mutual respect and shared purpose. Their conversations, though primarily focused on mill operations, gradually revealed shared values and complementary minds. Edmund spoke of his sister's struggle to find meaningful employment, despite her excellent education, while Harriet shared stories of her father's years as a mill worker, explaining how that experience shaped her understanding of the workers' needs. As autumn deepened into winter, their working relationship settled into a comfortable rhythm. They collaborated on implementing safer practices, introducing better lighting, and establishing evening classes for workers' children. Harriet observed Edmund's patience with struggling students, while he admired her gift for explaining complex mathematics in simple terms. Their shared commitment to improvement brought them together daily, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, something deeper began to grow. December brought heavy snows and new challenges. When influenza swept through the workers' village, they worked late into the evenings organizing relief efforts. One night, as they sorted through donation ledgers by lamplight, Edmund said quietly, "Your dedication to this community is remarkable, Miss Thorne. Millbrook is fortunate to have you. I've noticed how the workers trust you implicitly." Harriet felt warmth bloom in her chest at his sincere appreciation. "The workers deserve our support, Mr. Blackwood. They're the foundation of everything we hope to achieve here. Their trust must be earned and maintained." Their shared vision for the mill's future led to deeper conversations during their daily meetings. Edmund revealed his hopes of proving that business success and worker welfare could coexist harmoniously, while Harriet cautiously shared her dreams of someday managing her own business. Their discussions often extended beyond their scheduled meetings, each finding in the other an eager audience for their ideas and aspirations. Spring arrived with fresh challenges as they faced resistance to their proposed changes from the mill's board of directors. Standing together before the board in the grand meeting room of the town hall, they presented their case with confidence born of months of careful documentation and planning. Their arguments, strengthened by their combined knowledge of both business and worker needs, proved persuasive. The afternoon sun streamed through the tall windows as the board members, one by one, nodded their approval. The evening after their successful presentation, as they reviewed their victory over tea in the office, Edmund broke their usual formality. "I couldn't have achieved this without you, Harriet." Her given name felt right on his lips, earned through months of shared purpose and mutual trust. "We make an excellent team," she replied softly, meeting his steady gaze across the desk that had become their shared workspace. Their courtship developed as naturally as their professional relationship had, gradually and with purpose. Edmund began seeking Harriet's opinion on matters beyond the mill, while she found herself sharing more of her thoughts and hopes. They took proper, chaperoned walks through town, discussing literature, philosophy, and their shared vision for the future. Mrs. Peterson, Harriet's aunt and regular chaperone, often commented on how their conversations flowed easily from business matters to personal dreams, each discovery about the other feeling like a precious gift carefully unwrapped. When Edmund finally spoke of his feelings, it was with characteristic thoughtfulness. During a walk in the mill's newly planted garden, properly watched by Harriet's aunt, he said, "You've become essential to me, Harriet, not just as a colleague but as someone I deeply admire and cherish. Would you do me the honor of allowing me to court you properly?" Harriet's response came from both heart and mind, weighted with the understanding they'd built. "Yes, Edmund, I would like that very much." Their engagement, announced that autumn during the Harvest Festival, surprised few in Millbrook. The mill workers had watched their partnership grow naturally from professional respect to deeper affection, and many spoke of how fitting it was to see two such dedicated people find happiness together. They married in the spring, a celebration that brought together all levels of mill society, much like their reforms had done. Years later, as they walked home from the mill one evening, Harriet reflected on their journey. "We've created real change here," she said, watching workers leave for the day, their lives improved by fair wages, safer conditions, and educational opportunities. Children who had once struggled in their evening classes were now finding positions as clerks and teachers. Edmund squeezed her hand gently. "Together," he replied, the word carrying the weight of their shared achievements. "Everything we've accomplished has been together." Their love story became part of Millbrook's history, not as a whirlwind romance, but as a testament to the power of shared values, mutual respect, and gradual understanding. They had built something lasting, both in their marriage and in the community they served, proving that the strongest bonds often grow from the steadiest foundations. As they reached their door, Harriet paused to look at the mill in the distance, its windows glowing warmly in the gathering dusk. Who would have thought that quarterly reports could lead to this? Edmund smiled, understanding all she meant. "The best changes in life often come slowly, my dear, like a gentle flame that warms rather than burns." And in the soft evening light, they entered their home together, their partnership a testament to the enduring power of patience, purpose, and love built on understanding. The mill's bell tolled in the distance, marking the end of another day in Millbrook, where a most uncommon love story had bloomed in the most common of places, proving that sometimes the greatest romances aren't found in grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but in the quiet moments of two people growing together, day by day towards something beautiful and lasting.